All right, hockey fans, so we should have a good one this afternoon. Hopefully, no blowouts. We get something nice and fun like what's going on in Vegas right now. Is it in Vegas or there might be in Winnipeg? Regardless, Vegas had a 4-1 lead in the third period, and they are now in overtime at 4-4. Not sure if they're going to switch the game to a different channel or whatever, but the channel that this game is supposed to be on, Vegas and Winnipeg are still playing, so stay tuned for that. What do you expect out of this game? First game in Tampa. I mean, look, you got to figure that they're going to be rocking and rolling. I'm sure that the Lightning fans are going to show the Panther fans how it should sound in a building in your first home playoff game when series is tied and it's important that you get off to a good start. That's a different subject. I expect a big bounce back by the Lightning today, and you're probably going to see, if that happens, I think you'll see Toronto win Game 4. This one's just going to go back and forth, I feel, until the end of the series, like I've said, where I think the experience of Tampa and the pressure that Toronto is under, I kind of feel like in the end, that's where this is headed. Now, one thing I want to clear up here real quick. In the last video, a couple people had a couple of comments. There was no animosity, nothing bad, nothing like that. But it was brought to my attention that some people might have taken the first video that I did in this series as I was making fun of Leaf fans because I was doing a lot of laughing. That was not the case. That was definitely, if anybody took it that way, it was definitely a misunderstanding. The first time I came into the room, I was laughing my ass off because I knew that once my Panther fans saw the Thunder Stick, they were going to give me hell, and some of them did. Remember, we're streaming the games at the same time, so the energy that's going on in the streams can kind of come and carry over into the room. The second time I laughed when I said, how does it feel, Leaf fans, to give up a goal with whatever it was, 1.1 seconds left in the period? I wasn't laughing at Leaf fans. I was laughing at the irony that the same thing happened to my Panthers, to the same damn team the year before in Game 2, where we gave up a goal with 3.8 seconds left in the game, which cost us really any legitimate chance we had in the series. So the overwhelming majority of the laughing I was doing was that was the first time I wore a Lightning hat. I was playing with the Thunder Stick. I was just laughing at what the most likely reaction from my Panther fans was going to be. Had nothing to do with laughing at Leaf fans, or I even said in that video that I felt bad for the Leaf fans because they're at home and they showed some kid crying in the stands. So I just wanted to clear that up, make sure everybody understands. I do that on the streams. There's no trolling, there's no bashing other teams. Everybody is welcome. So, all right, that said, (6-4) Lightning. I hope, huh? Can we just have a full 60 minutes of just like run and gun and back and forth and fun hockey? A lot of these games have been over early. The last one in Tampa was over early. The Rangers and Devils is barely even a series. Okay, even the Islanders and Canes yesterday, it was close and then it was a blowout. Panthers yesterday to score, it was 4-0. The game was over when we got those couple of goals. So there's some good games that are going on in the West, but a lot of these games in the East have been lopsided for the most part. So 6-4 Lightning. How about some lead changes? How about like Toronto gets up 3-0 and then the Lightning come back? So let's just have some fun. I just want to have some fun, guys. You know what I mean? These are the videos that are no stress for me. Okay? I can come in here and I don't have to worry about, whatever Barkov isn't doing or whatever the goal, Lions not making this. I don't have to worry about that. We just have fun in here. So 6-4. What did I say? Did I say 6-4? I hope I said 6-4 Lightning. I had a 4-hour nap today, so I'm liable to ramble on. Let's move on and see what happens. All right, so 2-2 after 1. Kind of sort of what I was asking for. Fun high-scoring game. A couple of things. Andre Vasilevsky don't look like he's right. I'm not saying he's hurt, but between the last game and this game, he's giving up big, fat, juicy rebounds. And I know what playoff Andre Vasilevsky looks like against my Panthers. This ain't the same dude. So, Toronto, if y'all's ever going to win a series, if you're a Leaf fan right now, you got to be disappointed because I feel like the Leafs pretty much outplayed Tampa Bay that entire period. Even though Tampa has more shots, it just looks like Toronto's, playing harder. They're skating, they're moving their legs, they're beating Tampa to every puck. But it's 2-2, and that's the only thing that matters right now. I have a feeling this one's going to be high scoring, though, like I was hoping, because Vasilevsky just doesn't look good at all to me. He looks very, very human, very beatable, and that's, it's understandable. And it's all the more reason why I'm hoping they pull it together just enough to beat the Leafs and my Panthers can magically beat the Bruins, because this Tampa team is beatable. Okay, Leafs, if you all can't beat this Lightning version, we can definitely do that. All we got to do now is beat the Bruins 3 of the next 4 games and we're in. Hey, what do you want? I got to have some kind of hope here. All right. Let's see if Tampa can get back. They just look off. It's funny because I'm getting ready to say that they look like they figure, we can win anyway, and they're kind of right. It's like they're not playing well, but they still know when to put the puck into the back of the net. 2-2. Let's move on to the second period. All right, so it's 3-2 Tampa after 2. Now, I think that was a goal. Now, the reason why I think that was a goal is because of what happened in the Panther game the other night. In the Panther game the other night, the whistle was blown pretty much at the exact second that the Panthers' stick hit the puck, and it went in the back of the net from what I remember. But the point is that it was basically the same thing we saw here tonight. The Panthers was given a goal, and this was called no goal. So obviously, Tampa fans are going to think it was a goal. Toronto fans are going to think it wasn't a goal. I think that it was a goal because if you watch the replay, basically, like at the exact second his stick is hitting the puck, that's when the whistle was blown. So I'm surprised the review was that short. We'll put it that way. There was a whistle blown, but when was the whistle? Whatever. It was called back, so you move on. It's 3-2. But if Toronto somehow wins this game and Tampa fans argue that should have been a goal, I can certainly understand that. Now, Tampa looked a lot better in that period. Toronto kind of lucky to escape down 3-2. That was the completely different period than the earlier one. Vasilevsky looks like he's kind of settled in. And now Samsonov looks a little shaky. Not too much. Not too bad. I think Tampa's going to win this game, though. We've seen this, right? My Panthers have seen this. Tampa can turn it on inside of a game. It's sort of like what I was hoping my Panthers would do last night against the Bruins, that they never showed up. Tampa, when they're not playing well, Cooper is so damn good, and he has these guys, they're just responsive, right? He makes adjustments, and they come out sometimes in the next period, and they look like a completely different team. They looked good out there in that period. So we'll move on to third period. Still hoping for 6-4. This one could be overtime, though. We are going to overtime! Well, I guess we're going to overtime. 3-3. I wanted an overtime game. That's fine. That's cool. We haven't had one yet that we've been streaming for quite some time. Boy, a lot went on in that period. Now, the hit on point. Try to be as neutral about it as I possibly can. I kind of felt it wasn't dirty. I don't think it should have been a major. I don't think he had any intent to injure Point. I do kind of feel, though, that all things considered, them not calling the shove. I mean, I think the shove could have been enough to call boarding, especially when you take into consideration with all the reaction they actually gave Toronto a power play. I think out of that whole mess, the referee should have found a way to just make it even. Giving Toronto a power play out of that was uncalled for in my position, in my opinion. And then about a minute after Tampa kills the penalty, I forget who it was for Tampa, they had the puck moving in front of the net, and they absolutely got tripped and no call. So, okay. And then, of course, now here we are at 3-3, and the goal that was called back that I thought was a goal, that ended up having an effect on the game. There's no way around that. I'm not interested in arguing about it. I think it should have been a goal. I understand the reasons why they're saying it wasn't a goal. It's one of those things where you could have 1,000 people, 500 will say it was, 500 will say it wasn't. The referees are just people, and they make a judgment call, and it was no goal. So it was no goal. So we go to overtime. Now, Tampa. Look, dude, you gave the Leafs life. They stopped them from scoring the whole second period, all the way till a minute left in the third period. And then Vasilevsky didn't cover the short side. He was just a couple of inches from the pipe, and the puck ends up going in between in the chicken wing spot, like I like to call it. And Tampa, look, if you want to win this series, you got to have this game, because Toronto's not playing around, man. Toronto wants you guys, and I want my Panthers to be the one to beat the Lightning. So this can't happen. All right. See how it is. I have a feeling I'm going to be coming back and talking about the upcoming second overtime period. Well, I do believe Toronto might pull this series out, but we'll see. Leaf fans, don't get over hopeful, because you're still the Leafs. It's still possible that, But Tampa Bay somehow they shut down the Leafs offense for the majority of the second, third, and in the overtime, and two goals that I said Vasilevsky didn't look like himself. Okay? And I'm not saying that those are necessarily bad goals, but those goals are the difference between a team that wins the cup when he was playing out of his mind versus a team that might lose in the first round when you'd like to have both of those saves, but at the very least, it's tough giving up, short. I mean, it was a good, perfectly placed shot, right? Short side, up high over his ear, so that's a tough shot. But we've seen Vasilevsky play better. I think we'll leave it at that. So, in terms of Toronto's game, I mean, you guys got to feel kind of like, not necessarily that you got away with one, and I'll be clear here. While I think that the goal that Tampa had called back should have been a goal, that was so long ago that had no effect, in my opinion, on whether or not Tampa or Toronto won that game, because there was so much time after that you can't sit here and say that Toronto couldn't have tied the score either way. So I think it was a goal, but that's not why Tampa Bay lost this game. Toronto just never quite gave up. And look, give Samsonov some credit too. Especially the first 10 minutes of overtime, Tampa Bay looked like they were ready to end it. And then they kind of seemed to run out of steam a little bit, and the Leafs had a couple offensive zone chances, and 47 seconds, I think, something like that, left in overtime. Riley from pretty far out, and just perfectly placed shot. And that's what I'm talking about, Panther fans. That's what I'm talking about, right? Don't shoot it into the belly of the goaltender. Just shoot anywhere else. and sometimes it'll go in. So the Leafs take a 2-1 series lead, and now Tampa is in a very unfamiliar position. They're in the same position that we are, Panthers, where we got to win the next game at home to avoid Game 5 being a possible elimination game. No pressure whatsoever. I have a feeling that Tampa's going to be able to pull that game off, but Toronto has been surprising me during this series a little bit. It's funny because during my preseason preview, I predicted that that Toronto would actually be the 1 seed, is what I kind of thought was going to happen, because I felt like they had improved and they were ready to take that next step, and they might be. But don't count it yet. I know y'all are excited and you're happy, and that's good, and you deserve it. They showed the whole reaction from everybody who was standing outside, all losing their minds, so that's fun. See fans, but it's only 2-1, and this is the Lightning. So you guys have won a couple of games in a row, no doubt. Can't take that away from you, but just let's put it this way. Leaf fans have been through a lot, right? Okay? So now, I mean, you guys got to be feeling really, really confident. So I'm concerned for y'all should you lose this series after having a 2-1 lead, winning in overtime in Tampa, because that's got to feel really, really good. You guys got to be really, really high right now, and considering the history of this franchise, especially blowing leads and Game 7s and all that, please, for your own mental sanity, don't buy into it just yet. When there's a 4 next to your name in the Games 1 column, when it's over, then celebrate. Because, no offense, but if there's anybody capable of blowing this series, it's the Leafs. And if there's anybody capable of coming back and winning this series, it is Tampa. So, and somehow, Braden Point, I think they have a clone machine. And this is my new theory, is that NHL locker rooms include a clone machine. I mean, he couldn't walk, and he's holding his groin. Okay? Now, I suppose it's possible he might have got ding-a-donger. That's possible. But whatever it was, I don't know how they did it, but he was back out there not that long after, and he was skating just fine. So either he got ding-a-linged, or maybe it was some sort of weird cramp that they worked out. He came back and he looked just like himself. So this is one of those rare times where Tampa has a lead in a playoff game in the 3rd period and does not win. I can't remember the last time that would have happened. So, all right, Panthers, Bruins tomorrow. Live stream starts 1/2 hour before the game, and podcast will be back out Monday through Friday for members and YouTube. For YouTube members and Patreon supporters, I do a podcast Monday through Friday. It's about an hour long. Apologize to you guys. I know I said I was going to try to get something out to the members and everybody today, but we're streaming every night. So like tonight was again another 4.5 hour stream. For you young people, that doesn't sound like a lot, but for me, this is only half my income. I have a couple other businesses that I run, and I'm 51 years old and not 31. So the point is I took a nap. That's the point. I'm justifying this fact that I took a nap. Okay, it is what it is. All right, Toronto, you guys, it's there. It's there for you. It's there, but worst possible team to try to overcome all those years of not winning a series, and you have to beat this Lightning team. So more power to you if you can pull it off. Just don't count the chickens just yet.